Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the podcast. This is Life's a Lie. We have Bray and Rye here. We also have a special guest, Gary Payne.
Hello.
Garrett, Slink, a man
Slink.
of many names.
Many names.
Many names. Yes, the list is growing.
This is growing. That's good. That's a good thing to strive for. Some people have a lot of names, and that's good.
I like having a good nickname. Did you have a nickname at all growing up?
No,
You
I mean, I like
did you
Rye.
want one?
I'm
Did you
really
want one?
affectionate to Rye. If
Yeah.
somebody's like, and they're close to me and they call me Rye, it's like, oh, we're there. It's like
Yeah.
a stranger is just like, oh, I'm going to call it to shorten your name. It's like, you could say the back half. Like, it's not going to kill you. You're not saving much time.
It's like, I don't know you like that, man.
But
Me
like
neither.
I think Bray's kind of the same thing. I feel like
Yeah.
Bray's very affectionate when it's like your name's Brayden, but
Right.
you're Bray.
Right. When people like, I don't know, not a lot of people like say my name. Like I don't hear it very often. I always hear Bray because like I'm around you guys the most. And yeah, when people say my name in public, like the full Brayden, it's like, ooh. It's just like I don't know. It's an adjust.
Dude, it sounds like they're mad at me. I'm telling you. Whenever someone calls me Garrett, it's just
It's like, oh, what did I do?
instantly go into like panic.
Yeah,
Like,
dude. Gary was upstairs the other day, and me and Morg needed him. He's like, Garrett.
See,
He came down instantly.
yeah.
Just
Exactly.
ran
He
down
knew
the
it.
Stairs.
Hey, Slink. Do you want to explain where Slink came from? What was that conversation we were having?
it was just one night, and I don't know. I'd been thinking about just nicknames, like what I wanted to call.
It was like the surfer.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the surfer vibe nicknames.
I was like, if you were a surfer, bro, what would your nickname be?
and then skinny, like you know.
Yeah, like those. And then I was just like Slinky or Slink. And then,
Slink is good.
Slink immediately attached to Gary right out of it.
do you-
Right after it came out of his
it was
mouth.
just.
What do you think about getting Slink tattooed on the inside of your lip?
I like it.
You could rock
pull your
that.
lip out
That's
and
awesome.
reveal the word Slink.
Dude, I'd love it. I want a lip tat. That'd be
I
cool.
want a lip tat as well.
I want 2 lip tats.
Bray has one.
I
Bray
do have
got
a lip
one.
tat.
When did you get it?
Dude, it was a long time ago.
3 years ago, right?
It was,
2 years ago.
It was probably like 3 years ago.
How was it
I was
you-
18. Yeah.
Yeah, how is it?
I don't know. Do you want to see it?
Yeah.
Let me put this.
Let's describe it to the pod. Okay, XO, right?
Okay, so it's faded a little bit.
There's one X that's like way darker than the others.
Yeah.
I don't know which one it is, but yeah.
I'm actually surprised at how like well you could see them though after a couple years because
It's
they
been
say
a
that they're
while.
like gone after like 3 years.
Yeah, they say the guy was like, don't expect it to look like how it is after like 2 or 3 years, but like you can still tell what it is.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
just kind of wonky, but that's what I expected. So
Did it hurt? What was the
it
pain?
wasn't that bad. It was weird because he had like peel my lip open and then like get his like rubber glove hand up in there and then like
Yeah.
do it.
Eek.
But it wasn't like, it was like a weird sensation. It wasn't painful though. I wouldn't say painful.
Yeah. Do you think you could go to the dentist before get your like lip numbed
Yeah.
and then go get the tattoo?
Oh. No. No, I would hate that actually. Now that
That's
I'm
worse?
thinking about it, I think you would want to feel it. Like it would feel weird if you couldn't. I wouldn't like that.
I've heard that if it's I don't know if this is true, but if you like you like bite your lip or there's pain that happens while your mouth is numb, it's just delayed until after because you'll still be in pain, but you just didn't notice it at the time. So maybe
Yeah.
Right. Well, it's like when you have like your mouth all numbed up and then like you bite your cheek and you don't really know until like the next day when you wake up, you're like, man, my face hurts because
Okay,
I was
yeah.
gnawing on my face.
Right, but with the tattoo, I guess if it didn't hurt, then it doesn't matter. But there are some tattoos that definitely hurt, right?
Yeah, I've
You
had
have
some
had
painful
some.
ones.
Where was the most pain that you've?
Most pain? I don't know. One of the ones on my leg, probably towards the bottom. Actually, maybe it was the girl, but just towards the end,
Right.
like on my thigh.
Is it
but-
just like towards the joints that you think it's more tender?
No,
Or what's the correlation?
Maybe I don't know. Like just those tender areas, like where your skin is like not as exposed as it is. Like usually, like your knee. I don't think your knee would be that bad
Okay.
because it's like you're always on your knee. You know what I mean? Like it's like
this- okay, yeah.
right. But I think the back of your knee is like
Ouch.
that would hurt.
that sounds painful.
Like same thing. I don't know, like your armpit or something like that. I think that would be the worst.
Armpit would be awful.
Rib
yeah.
cage.
Not like I would ever do it, but rib cage might be bad. I don't know.
I feel like on the ribs would hurt.
You think?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't
I'm
know.
not
I don't
sure.
know if there's a lot like protecting you, like skin or fat or anything.
Yeah. Do you think the fattier areas? Do you think that hurts less or more?
I don't know.
I've heard less. I've heard that like rib cage, bony.
Yeah.
Like hands is especially because there's a lot of nerves, but it's also just really bony.
I did collarbones. Collarbones wasn't bad.
Right.
Like it didn't hurt that bad. But I don't know. It wasn't. It was short. So.
I really like collarbones. I think that's cool. I think that's a good place to get a tattoo.
I like collarbones too. I'm a fan.
I like how they stick out of some of your shirts. Not all of them. Like you can control it. You can like say like, you know, if it's like a lower neckline, it's like, oh yeah, that shit pops
like
out.
This one, I don't think you can see it much at all. But
No.
like some of my other ones, like I purposely get like a bigger neck because I like it like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it's cool.
Yeah. I think there's an important aspect of tattoos that they do hurt though, because like it feels good knowing that what you're hurting for is gonna last, and that you're doing something that like is pretty. Like it's literally like that, like art is pain. Like it's literally imprinting onto your skin in a harmful way.
Right.
But it sticks with you. That's cool. Like it's kind of metal. That's like it's cool as fuck. Like
metal.
I'm a big fan.
Is it lip tat art though? No one ever sees it.
Lip tats.
But you control it. I mean, you can control who says it. You say, "Yo, check this out."
Yo,
you
check
can just
this
pop
out.
it. It says
Pop the
"fuck
lip.
you" or just say anything.
My dentist asked me what slink on my lip means.
I went to the dentist and he didn't say anything. I don't think he saw it. Like, I don't know.
You'd probably see it, right?
I don't know. Like, they didn't. I really don't think he saw it, actually. Like, the last, I got a new dentist, but.
I have a new dentist.
Yeah. I got one closer.
That's
I don't like driving like 45 minutes to go to the dentist. It's stupid.
Yeah.
But.
I just have a dentist hookup, so it's like.
Yeah, dentist. I did too. That's why I used to drive, and now I'm not worth it. Not worth it.
That's fair. Yeah. Yeah. Especially if they're going to judge me about slink on my lip. Maybe I need to go somewhere else.
Exactly.
Well, it's like, what could they say? It's like, yo, you got shit on your lip?
Yo,
Like,
yeah,
it's a
check this out.
tattoo.
True.
Like, oh, do you chew? And you're like, no, it's a tattoo.
No, I just,
Like,
yeah.
This cancer? What is this?
Do you drink, smoke, and or do any of the following things on this paper?
Yeah, I started vaping, and then suddenly slink showed up on my lip.
A priest said it was the mark of the devil.
I don't know. It's just.
Yeah, I don't know. My friends call me it, so.
Kind of worked out. Kind of good correlation. What else did we have? What else was on our minds?
Yeah, we've had a lot of on our minds recently. We kind of got on a tangent there.
Yeah, true. We're
for a hot little minute. Anyways,
slinking names.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've dropped an episode for everyone listening right now, and we also got some new recording software. So if we sound a little different, deal with it.
We're moving up. This is the next phase.
Yeah, something. I don't know. We've kind of been changing. We've been doing some stuff. A big change that has happened recently is a friend of mine actually got engaged.
Oh, hello. That's me.
That's crazy. Oh,
hello. Ryan Lane, welcome to the podcast.
Yes, hello. Yeah, I am engaged. I don't say my girlfriend anymore. I say my fiance, which is crazy. I said it the other day. I was like, my girlfriend. No, actually, no, it's not that. It's my fiance.
The title.
My ex-girlfriend.
My
My fiance.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I was like Haley, you're not my girlfriend anymore. Like that's over. Which is cool. It's just cool to change. It's cool to transform, to grow. This is like we've been dating for 6 years, so it was coming. I don't know. It's coming, and after like a year of like COVID, it was like, I don't know. I kind of realized like you don't have a ton of control of your life. You have a lot of control of your life, but you don't have a ton of control of like everything that happens. If COVID happens, like. You immediately, everything about the job that we liked, like changed. Everything about like our friends, our aspects. It was a question of how much will I see them? Like, am I going to see my friends for the rest of the year? Like, what's going to happen?
We saw each other every day, so.
Right. But it's like, yeah, and so you can make changes to make things happen, to be with the people you care about, and that's what it came down to. Was like, I don't want to keep waiting to marry her because I don't want chaos to keep happening and me not be able to make changes with the people I'm close to.
Right.
It's
like
like
6 years. I mean.
Yeah, exactly. It's like 6 years or 7 years. It's what's the difference at that point. So we're actually in our new place recording right now, in mine and Haley's place, in the new house.
We're in the studio at the moment.
The studio, the living room.
Yes, it's great.
On the couch, on the floor, on the rug. It's a great rug.
A great rug.
It's a really nice rug.
Wish you guys could see it. God damn.
And it's blue. It's got a cream. There's like some floral print to it, kind of. It's a really nice rug.
I wish you guys could see it.
I kind of want to bring it back to the idea that Haley's your ex-girlfriend now.
Yeah.
I think that's funny.
Yeah.
I think that's hilarious.
I think you should refer to her as your ex-girlfriend.
Anyone that gets married, isn't that your ex? Like, you're not, I don't know. It's
right.
Technically.
Technically. I think that's funny. I'm a fan of that.
Yeah.
Like, when I get engaged, I'm going to be like, you're my ex-girlfriend. I'm going to say tell everyone you're my ex-girlfriend.
Right.
Now.
The question
we got engaged, but.
Yeah, the question I'm going to pop is, like, do you want to be my ex-girlfriend?
Do you want
to evolve?
Do you want to break up?
Girlfriend?
Oh, that's funny. But yeah, a lot of changes have been happening with all of us. Have you liked? I don't know. I also something that I've always viewed. I don't know if this is a hot take or not. Let me know. But anytime I've ever seen anyone get engaged or like have the ring, you know, all that stuff, I already view them as married.
Yeah.
Before, like, right when I see that, I'm like, oh, they're married. Like, I've never really said fiance and like, you know, whatever. Like,
right.
I don't. It's like, you guys are married. Shut up.
Like, it's just a matter of time.
We're just waiting for like the event to happen. But right. Is that weird? Is that a bad take? Is that bad to do?
No, that's fair. Like when Haley's here, I'm like, yeah, that's my wife.
That's
essentially
right.
Like, why? Yeah, like you call it what it is. And yeah, it's literally the John Mulaney joke. It's way more empowering to be like, yeah, that's my wife than like, oh, that's my girlfriend.
Can my girlfriend come?
Yeah, it's like, can my girlfriend come? It's like, no, that's my wife. Like, yeah, she's coming with me.
That's my ex-girlfriend. She's coming with us.
That's my ex. Yeah.
That's my ex. I didn't know John Mulaney had a bit on that.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, John Mulaney is truly one of the greats working these days.
Working temporarily on hold, but will resume.
Can't wait. Can't wait for the comeback. The comeback kid.
That was truly, you know, that was quarantine was John Mulaney and Nick Kroll. That was what got me through their podcast. Oh, hello. And yeah.
Yeah. Oh, hello. The podcast was perfect. Some people don't, the Oh, hello format of a play doesn't work for everyone. It doesn't connect to everyone.
Well, with Hamilton on the scene, it's like they fought each other.
Yeah, they made each other better,
you know,
by playing at the same. But of course, that would draw an audience away from Oh Hello.
Right.
And so, yeah, some people probably would prefer the audio format. They have some great guests, John Oliver and Pete Davidson.
They do, yeah. They don't have Slink yet, as of now. Hopefully someday. I would love to, but
love to call in and just really lean into John.
Dude, I want to let them know that, you know, they're not watching my sets.
Call in. If you call in enough, we'll get there.
Yeah, you're right. I just need to comment on their Instagram like 40 times, and it'll work.
Slink.
The
Slink guy wants to be on.
Yeah.
Ever since you moved in 1 year ago to this day.
To this day. The anniversary.
The anniversary of Gary living at 1443. How many times would you reckon we've watched Oh Hello on Broadway, the Netflix original?
Ooh, these are some good questions. Too many times. I would not too many. I would say at least 20. At least 20, if not more.
20 or more. We definitely, yeah. You have the good first half memorized.
I've watched it enough times that I can quote that from beginning to end, almost word for word at this point.
Dude, I've seen you guys do it. I feel like I've watched it multiple times because you guys got it down, like down.
It just is so applicable into my daily life. It's strange that two retired men in the Upper West Side of Manhattan can just literally have a quote for everything in my life that happens.
Yeah, it's amazing. They can connect. This episode is brought to you by Gas Station Dick Pills. Want to make your dick hard for 7 hours? Gas Station Dick Pills, fulfilled by Heaps.com.
Yeah. Now back to our regularly scheduled program. Actually, our software just stopped randomly, so we had to put an ad in to make our money. So
we have to. Yeah, do you have to buy better audio software? So we had to do an ad read to purchase that after. Switching
we're
already.
Probably gonna do another one in like.
The entire episode of this podcast is actually sponsored by Gas Station Dick Pills. So
yeah, I don't think we have to say anything about the product. I think it speaks for itself. Really great technology. 7 to 8 hours is really just way more than any man needs. So yeah,
Yeah, so
I don't know. You should really just speak for yourself on that one, Bray.
yeah, Bray, I don't know. 7 to 8 hours, really?
Yeah, my bad. You know what? I was out of place there.
Take 2. Fuck it. Maybe you need it. We don't know you.
So when you take 2 pills, is that extending it to 16 hours, or is that
Twice as hard.
Twice as hard. Yeah,
Yeah, that's
I mean,
growth.
What's the metric on that? You know the bit. It's like if I drink 2 5-hour energies, is it 10 hours of continuous energy, or is it 5 hours of double the energy?
Yeah.
Or do you just feel like shit?
Just heart problems.
That's just a heart attack. Same thing with 2 gas station dick pills. If you take 2, that is going to give you a heart attack.
It's like pumping way too much blood. Like
Yeah.
your heart's just working.
Yeah, Keeps did want us to tell you, just a fair warning, not to take 2 of them at once.
May cause serious fatal injury.
Yeah, side effects are cold feet, cold toes, cold fingers, and possible heart attack.
Oh, that's so funny. We were speaking on things have been changing. As we said, Rye is essentially married at this point. And a lot of things are changing with COVID, the COVID restrictions, like the mask, at least here in Utah, the mask mandate has been lifted. So you don't have to wear a mask if you don't want to, but if you want to,
Wear a
go
mask.
for it. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's probably still good, honestly.
Yeah, things are changing. Quarantine was a weird time.
Quarantine was a crazy time.
Yeah, 2020, getting laid off. That was the start. Having the start be just my introduction to this virus was being unemployed.
Yeah, I think mine was also very similar. I think we stopped working in June, right? It was June.
Right. We were working from home for a few months, and that was
True.
the worst thing ever.
Yeah, it was. I was not a fan of working from home. I'm glad people have adjusted to it, and I'm glad it's like kind of turning into a normal thing that people are working from home. But yeah, it was weird for me. I wasn't a huge fan. I like having an office to go to.
Yeah, I wish I could speak to that more, because my first day of working from home, I got the call I was getting furloughed, as they say. So, yeah, it's okay. It was already going rough. It was also around the same time of Animal Crossing's dropping, so I was doing much less work and much more Animal Crossing. So
much more chores.
That came out at the perfect time to help people for a few months.
true.
That's honestly, the sales probably did way better because of it, right?
Just video games in general.
Well,
but
maybe
that
not
one
better. A lot of
specifically.
people lost their jobs, so maybe they didn't buy it. I don't know.
I don't know.
Weird
we
time.
all got
justify a
$1,200.
$60 Nintendo game, but that one, there is a lot of value.
That's
there.
one of their
Making a town, making a village, a home.
Making a home.
making a house a home. Yeah.
Making a house a home.
Going into debt for Tom Nook.
Yeah.
He laid me off.
A $2 million house payment.
Yo, Tom, I'm gonna default. I got laid off.
Yeah, Tom Nook took the house, so
My game just doesn't load anymore.
it just
took the
doesn't boot.
game.
Like that's just it.
Until I can provide 2 million bells, I can't access.
I just wish there were more like mini games in Animal Crossing. Like if there was like more mini games, I think there'd be a lot more playability. But it's just kind of a chore sim.
Yeah, chore sim. It's good for some people. Some people really enjoy that, but
I get into phases. I've been coming back to it, but it really was an awesome first month of quarantine playing that and just having nothing to do and
right.
gaining weight.
What else did we do during quarantine? That was like first couple weeks of quarantine was that. I remember.
Yeah.
We did that quite a bit.
Doom had just come out. Doom Eternal. I was playing that.
Doom had come out.
We just got into Fortnite because Manny was leaving,
this
and
is
as Manny
great.
was leaving, he got us into Fortnite. We started playing Fortnite
Every day.
Yeah, Gary and I would wake up every morning, come play Fortnite for 10 to 12 hours, go to bed.
I'd clock in for a few hours.
We'd put in our work. We'd put in our time. We got a lot better.
Listen, yeah, so, laborers are really not valued, and that's not fair, because the way I played Fortnite, they should have seen me, It's just, I was something else out there.
Gary should have got paid for how much he was grinding in Fortnite.
You weren't?
I wasn't getting paid.
Oh,
Gary did this at a loss. You see, when you play a lot of Fortnite, you connect to the item shop. You see the value and like, oh yeah, that's a dope skin. That's a dope glider. That's a dope.
See, it's all a self-investment, and you can't really put a price tag on that. So I may not have gotten paid, but at some point that'll definitely come through for me.
Right.
yeah, that'll 10x.
Hundreds of dollars in the item shop equal just countless dollars of value of your character and your skill in Fortnite specifically.
Oh yeah, definitely. And it's like I didn't just waste a year of my life. Definitely not. It wasn't just. I want to set the record straight on that one. That the last year was not just a total blur of just absolutely no progress in any direction. If anything, backwards. That's not what happened.
It's all about the experience. It's all about being able to experience it, even if.
I just remember week 3 of like quarantine. It would be like, I don't know, it was like a Saturday. I'm like, oh, it's Saturday. But that didn't mean anything.
Yeah.
Or it was like, oh, it's Monday. I was like, oh, what does that mean? It's literally the same as the day before.
It was the days when they started getting blurred. I didn't know what day it was. That was like a wake up for sure. Because it just hit me one day where I was like, I don't know what tomorrow is. And I still have that moment, but
it's so much easier to keep it straight when you're like working and actively doing something.
yeah, the only day I had on my calendar was to file for my unemployment. So like that was my restart. That was my weekend.
Sunday.
Yeah. I filed Sunday, I get it Tuesday, and then the weekend starts on Wednesday.
What was that like? What was the unemployment?
I'm sure
like?
a lot of people, it wasn't just, us that went through it. I'm sure a lot of people are dealing with like the whole unemployment thing because it's kind of annoying to deal with sometimes. And it's not like people want to.
Right.
Right.
But-
Nobody wants to have to ask for that. Nobody wants to say,
Right.
"Hey, I'm hurting. I need help." Like nobody wants to. But these are the systems you're already paying for.
True.
Day in, day out. When you have a job in the good times, you're paying towards these systems.
Mm-hmm.
So you absolutely can and should use them and be able to fall back on these safety structures when COVID happens, when pandemics happen, when emergencies happen. But there is like a gross like. I don't know. People kind of look down on it, and I wish they didn't because it's not something to look down on. It's not like we have so much control of the pandemic and when these things happen.
Yeah, like especially what happened at our work and like how it was kind of like sudden and weird and like, yeah, I don't know. I'm sure it was like the exact same for a lot of people, and I'm sure a lot of people were grateful for that because like I don't have a kid or anything, but I know plenty of people that's like they have kids and stuff like that, and like they have a ton of stuff to take care of. And they lose their job, and it's like they really need it, So
yeah, and it's like deep down, this may be unbased, but I feel like everybody just wants to get paid to do nothing. That just frees not necessarily nothing, but that frees you up to do whatever you want to do if you don't have to worry about money. And that's kind of what unemployment was for a little while. I wish I could have had the unemployment pandemic money outside of the pandemic, but there is just a lot of shame with it. There's a lot of like my family specifically. I remember, every time I was confronted with my parents or my, extended family, it was always like, are you still on unemployment? You still just mooching off everybody? But it's like, I mean, yeah, technically yes, but I did get it at one point when I needed it. And now maybe I could get a job, but why would I get a job in the dead of the pandemic when I can make more on unemployment and just enjoy it,
Well, that just shows that if companies aren't willing to pay more than the minimum that you need to survive, people won't work for you, nor should they. That's exploitation at its finest. They'll say, no, I'm going to use the safety structures we have because you're not paying enough for it to even be worth my time. I'm going to pursue things that fulfill me because I wasn't born on this earth to labor. I don't only have value to people if I'm working for somebody. You as a human being deserve to experience things and to fulfill things. And you will naturally need to find value in work eventually anyways. You're going to have that drive that says, okay, I actually, this was fun for a while, but like there are other things in life that I want that I need to strive for that I will put in the time for.
Yeah. And I got to that point, but it was for that period of time, I had no incentive. There was no, I don't know if it was just Utah, but there was no like pay raise for working during the pandemic, no matter how risky, quote unquote, that it would be to work. And so I had zero incentive to do anything but just go in on a weekly basis and ask for more money from the government. And it was money that had already been allocated. Like they signed the bill, that money was going to unemployment, whether I requested it or not. It was either me or somebody else. So I felt zero guilt, and I never understood any of the criticism on it, because while there was a statistic of people like me where they could have gotten a job, but they didn't, they were just riding unemployment because it was better for them. There was people that genuinely needed that money. And the argument that everybody that was on unemployment was just me, that was just a kid that was just collecting their $600+ a week. Yeah, there was that, but I knew a lot of people, and I still know a lot of people that don't have jobs, that have kids, and they needed that. And there was still a lot of shame around anybody that's on it. And I don't get it. I really never understood it, but it kind of got to me. I think that was eventually the course where I was like, all right, I need to get a job. Was part of it was because I felt like I needed to work, and the other part of it was because I needed to tell people I was employed.
Yeah, just like being on unemployment for too long, like you get super bored. Like there's not a lot to do. Like you're kind of just ending up like, I don't know, definitely trying to figure out things to do. Because when I was unemployed for a long time, which it was like pretty recent, you know, like it was all like always trying to figure out what to do, like what's next. Like because after so much time, you definitely are just like, yeah, I'm ready to do something every day. And like working's not bad. Like working's great, actually. It's like, especially if you have a decent job and things like that you don't hate, then, you know, it's like totally worth to go into work. But, yeah, I don't know, gives you a good drive. Being unemployed for too long drove me kind of crazy. So
let's say, that you were on this unemployment and there was no travel restrictions. There was nothing, like it was just normal time. Do you think you would have done things differently?
If like, are you saying if I was on unemployment and the pandemic wasn't happening?
Yeah, essentially.
I probably would have been way less stressed to find a job. Like I think finding a job would have been way easier because, you know, pandemic kind of screwed most of that over.
Right.
I probably would have done it way different. I probably would have like been way more active on like trying to find like I don't know, because when I was during the pandemic, I was kind of being a little bit more specific with my jobs because I knew how things were affected.
Yeah.
And maybe if it wasn't, maybe I would have been like a little more broad. Like I wouldn't have cared so much exactly where I was working. But I don't know. It definitely, I don't know, it kind of blindsided all of us. And like, I just wouldn't want to work at a place where like, I don't know, COVID affected it like super bad. Because like at my last job, it was like terrible and like super weird about like, I don't know, I didn't like how they were handling it and different things. But yeah, I don't know.
So you think it would have been, you're not sure ultimately?
You probably wouldn't have been on unemployment if there wasn't a pandemic for as long.
Exactly.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, like if I was on unemployment, it probably would have been for like, I probably wouldn't have gotten on unemployment, like period, to be honest.
Yeah, it was easier to stay unemployed during a pandemic because the alternative is putting your health and the ones that you care about at risk, because anytime you go to work, you're increasing your risk of getting that sickness. So it's easier to stay inside all day.
Right.
It's easier to stay inside and play Fortnite all day or just hang out. Even though it's miserable, even though on paper, like it sounds fun, it isn't fulfilling to stay inside all the time. And it wasn't fulfilling. There was like aspects of it that were awesome, that were very freeing. It was nice to be able to sleep in or to not have to worry about like tomorrow, what I have all day tomorrow, because I have nothing tomorrow. Yeah. But like it's a give and take. It doesn't mean that it's all perfect when you're not working. There's just as many struggles, if not more, than you have at the top. And I remember there's a really good study that talks about like every dollar that's given to people on unemployment directly goes back into the economy. Yeah. Versus dollars at the top where people are living in excess, that money doesn't always go back to the economy. But when it's given to the people who need it for food and groceries and rent, it goes right back to it. Yeah. Right. So it's worth giving them to that at the bottom because they need it and it's useful and it's needed.
Yeah. And it was needed, and there was like that the same the idea that it wasn't all perfect, it wasn't all great. And the people were staying home that were just taking that payment because they just didn't want to go get a job. There was shame on like from everyone from that. And it was so strenuous on my relationships with my family, with everybody, because I was just trying to stay at home, trying to do like not go to work, not trying to go out. And I remember when we had one friend over, when everybody got COVID in the group, it was like I had just been at home and I didn't pass it to anybody. And that was like the moment that I was like, yeah, I need to stay home. Like, this is better for me to keep staying home like this. But it ended up with just me not having anything to talk about with anybody, with my, my girlfriend at the time. And so it was just very strenuous on, as a being, not having, like, it felt like I had no purpose. It was really just, I was waking up every day to do the same thing, only because, and I feel like, I asked you that question, Bray, about, what would you do if it was outside the pandemic? Because if I had that kind of money that I was making, which was obscene at the time, during, like, right now, when I can travel, when I can do things, I would have had a totally better experience and I would have had a better review on it. But it wasn't everything that everybody thought it was. Like, everybody that had pointed fingers at people that were taking unemployment during the time really didn't know the full story, I don't think.
Yeah, I think a lot of the time. And yeah, it was like, I was way more stressed when I was unemployed than when I had ever been employed. Cause, like, I don't know, it drives you crazy being by yourself for too long, or just like not doing anything. Like you said, like you don't have anything to talk about because you feel like you're kind of waking up in that same cycle of like, nothing different happened at work today because I don't have work. And it's just like, oh yeah, I stayed inside for 2 weeks and, but I don't know. I'm grateful that, like, we're finally in a time where, like, things are getting better. The mask mandate was, like, lifted, wear it if you want to, don't wear it if you don't want to. And, like, I don't know. I just see, like, a future, like, it's finally getting better. Like, it took a whole year to finally get here, but at least we're finally on, like, a come up where at least it's not affecting me as much as it was like in the past, and maybe it's affecting people less. But
yeah, and I'm excited about the same thing. I'm fully vaccinated now. That I'm excited to, like, do things. In general.
Is it only 2 shots?
It's only 2 shots.
I thought it was 3 for a long time for whatever reason.
Just 2. Just one, about a month apart, depending on which one you get.
Gotcha. Yeah, you got your second shot recently, and I heard it hit different.
Yes. Yeah, I was out for a while, and the thing about
many people.
Yeah, and the first one was actually worse for me. I was actually sick for only one day on my second one, but, like, the first one and the second one were almost the same thing. I just felt like I had basically COVID. It was like a flu, but COVID was pretty similar, I'd say.
Yeah.
So would you say it was like a slice of COVID?
It was like a slice of COVID. I think that's why people think it gives you COVID, is because it was very much so, like, my body ached, the headaches, the the pressure, just like it definitely felt like a little slice of COVID.
Yeah, because COVID fucking sucked. COVID was so worse.
Yeah, it was bad.
COVID still affects me. I feel like I don't know. I can't really, like, justify that, but I do feel that my health is
not right.
Yeah, my nose is still messed.
Nose isn't right. Like, people describe that head fog for a really long time.
Yeah.
After, like, things just, that clarity isn't there. It feels like you're like that sick brain. Like when you're sick and, like,
dude, sick brain is the worst.
Yeah.
Like, you try to do anything and you just, like, lose your train of thought and you're just, I don't know.
And I felt like I had that for extended. I remember I didn't have taste for probably like 2 months. And that was, and that even still, I don't think my smell or taste is great. My nose has never been awesome because of my septum, but, like, it's worse now for sure.
Yeah.
It's not just like a light flu. And I remember that was always like, nobody got that even because you're young, it doesn't affect you, but, like, it fucked me up.
People feel safe when they downplay things. If they don't know what is the full capacity of them. And so there were a lot of people when COVID times were about who had no experience with it and didn't talk to a single person who had it, but were just like, oh, it's nothing. Like, you're young, you're going to be fine.
Yeah.
It's like, no, this is a lasting thing. This is affecting the whole world. Mm-hmm. Don't downplay it.
Yeah.
Acknowledge that it has power and acknowledge that you have power to overcome it, hopefully, or that you can implement things that will help you overcome it. But that, like, this is a big deal. It's affecting everyone. It's bigger than you. You can admit that. Yeah. You don't have to be... It's not weak to admit that saying this thing will fuck you up. This thing can have a lasting effect on you. It doesn't make you weak for saying that.
No, not at all. And, I remember my family talking to me about COVID when I got it. And they were like, Oh, so was it just like a light cold? Like you were fine though, right? Like they wouldn't ask me like how was it? They'd be like, how was COVID? It was just like a light flu? Like they had already had the assumption that it wasn't
Like
a
they
big
were
deal.
telling you how it was before
Yeah.
they even asked, kind of thing.
Yeah, I think I had 4 or 5 of my extended family, like my aunts and uncles, asked me that question exactly like that. And my family's very conservative, unfortunately, but that was just like how they asked me. And anything I told them about COVID, they just always threw out the window because they had their preconceptions. And they were almost gonna. So this was a family vacation to Lake Powell, and there was a debate like they weren't even gonna let me come. But then when I got there, because it was probably about a month after I'd gotten COVID, and when I got there, that suddenly it wasn't a big deal that I had gotten COVID at all. They just wanted to downplay it, but they had made such a big deal out of it before, and so just everybody wanted to. Everybody wanted it to be not a big deal to them, but when it came to it,
they were trying to not make it a big deal. And
Yeah.
like they made it a big deal, and then like you got there, and they're like, "Oh yeah, so it was just like a little thing." Right?
yeah, so it was just a little COVID, like it was a little flu,
Right.
And the taste was the worst though, for sure.
Yeah. Which, I mean, it did affect everyone a little bit differently. I've heard of people that like they tested positive, it wasn't that bad, and that's great. Like I'm glad because I wouldn't want anyone to go through like the sickness I had. It wasn't fun.
No,
But
not at all.
yeah, I don't know. People trying to downplay it is kind of weird because like just because say even you had it and it wasn't that bad, like you can see all of like the posts or things like it's happening everywhere.
Yeah,
It's,
you
like,
can see the
people
death
are
count.
Definitely fucked up from it. Like it's not fun. So I don't know. Just kind of weird that people try and downplay it when it's like, I don't know, just because it didn't affect you, how it affected everyone else. Like just look how it affects everyone else, and then
It's main
don't ignore
character
it.
syndrome right there for sure.
Yeah.
And it's just like no empathy. If
No.
you can just look at this insane death count and feel nothing, then it's like what do you feel for your fellow person? Like how can you not acknowledge that every single person who's been affected by this, every single person who's died is the exact same as you. They're no different. If you can't understand that, then you can't understand like human life
Yeah.
as a whole. You will only understand yourself as the protagonist and not see anyone else as an equal. You will see them as side characters until you understand that everyone is on the same
Like we're
equal level of you.
Yeah, we're all made of the same stuff. We're all based out of the same carbon. It's like
Yeah.
I don't know. And I think that was a big awakening for all of just the pandemic in general. It's just you have no control over anything. You can have an illusion of control, and you can think that things aren't going to happen to you. But when it really comes down to it, I would never thought I was going to get COVID. I thought I was just never it wasn't going to be a big deal. But like I don't know. You really can't go through this mindset that you have control and that you're not going to get messed up by things, because you will for sure. And I think COVID proved that. And I think that also on the flip side, like good things can happen to you. And I've found that that's the same thing happening around the pandemic ending. Things are just looking up. Things are looking brighter.
Right. And I had a thought on that. It just like escaped my mind.
Bray and I, we were kind of talking about like, I don't know. There's been times where it's, especially in COVID, when you were told to like stay inside. It was so hard to have hope. Like every time you'd open up any website, the news reports would be saying death counts, would be saying,
Right.
the new restrictions. People were afraid about what lockdowns would be, what liberations of their freedom they'd have to give up. People were just afraid of the unknown, of everything like that. And so it's so hard to have hope.
Mm-hmm.
And so now it just feels like a new time. It feels like life is beginning again because hope is becoming more commonplace, because people are like ready to talk about like what is coming and what is going to change, because now it's on the horizon. Now it's here.
Yeah.
When a year ago it was so hard to have hope. It was so hard to move forward.
I
Stoke
remember
was at
like
an
the
all-time
first
low.
time I heard about COVID, and it was just like on my phone, like a news thing. And it was one of those things where it's like, you see something on the news and like it kind of like you like remember it, but you're like, oh yeah, whatever. Like
Mostly bounces off you.
yeah, it kind of bounces. That's how it was. And then I heard of it again in the news, like maybe it was like a week or two later. But then it was like this whole big thing. But I've heard of these like big things on the news, then like it still doesn't affect me.
Yeah.
Like all these things are happening. I'm like, oh, well, I've never seen it. Not that I'm saying it doesn't happen, but it doesn't really affect me. And then that was the one where it's like, oh, we have to start doing like these mandates and these restrictions. And like, I remember just hearing all of these new rules and I was like, no way, right? Like they can't, like, that's not going to happen, is it? And then it did. And I was like, oh, well, like shit. Like it just kind of like slaps
Yeah.
you in the face when you like see it unfold from like on your phone on the news. That's like, oh yeah, whatever. And then
Yeah.
it really happens, and you're like, oh great, like
And it happened in
It's
like
real.
a week. I remember
it was fast.
Yeah, I worked for a solar company, and California shut down, and like 3 days later my job was gone because it was like California, then New York, and then that was it. Like it was just, it all happened really quick.
Uh-huh.
Like right at the beginning of like March
Yeah.
2020. It's like
Yeah.
within like March 7th to 14th. Yeah, that was when we had like really started talking about it, really heard about it, really. Okay, now work's closed. Now we're working from home. Now we're laid off. Now we're, all these things.
Yeah, it all happened really fast, and I think it all happened to all of us around the same period.
Mm-hmm.
Me and you, the job thing was around the same period. And then we all got COVID like around the same time as well. So
Got it the same day-ish, yeah.
Yeah, we were all going through it together in
Yeah.
like June or July of
Yeah.
last year.
Truly
It
just
sucked. It was that was a good 10, 12 days of just pain and suffering.
Mm-hmm. Just wanting, no, and it was once in a century event for sure.
yeah,
Hopefully. Historically, once in a century, but hopefully in the future it stays that way.
Yeah, you hope. And I don't know. It would be, the thing is that I don't wish for another pandemic. Of course
of
not,
course
in within our time, but it would be, there is value in having people who have already gone through it there if it happens again, because this time around it felt like, when was the last pandemic that somebody lived through? Like no one in our leadership is like, oh yeah, we've been through things like this before,
that's true. I didn't
we
think
can
about
get
that.
through it again.
It was
like-
kind of new. Like,
Yeah.
what are we gonna do? Like, how are we gonna tackle this? And it was kind of like trial and error at the beginning until they were like towards the middle of the pandemic, they were putting up like these shields, like I don't know, like businesses were drastically changing how their stuff was set up just because of like these, these rules or whatever was being made.
Businesses that have been around for however many years, whether it's new or old, have had to adapt to stay afloat because the alternative was closing.
And it's not just like putting up a sign like saying this. It's like renovating, like doing big things to like, I don't know. It's
Completely changing infrastructure. Like drive-through food completely had to change from a dine-in with the option of drive-through to like exclusively drive-through.
Also, like pickup is like DoorDash, the delivery services. Just the way that we operate is so different now. Just on every.
I'm sure DoorDash has cashed in.
Somehow they've still lost money last year.
What?
They're just. I mean, they're. It's a Silicon Valley thing. I guess
Some of those things are just like,
it has value because it exists somehow, but it's still losing money. It doesn't have revenue.
things with value can still operate at loss
Isn't
for
money
years
crazy?
before.
Isn't value crazy?
I mean, Amazon was the same way until like
Right.
recently,
Yeah, like-
recent.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, they operated at a loss for a while.
Huh. Yeah.
But I mean, the stoke tanks are full. Things are happening. Things are moving in an upward direction. I like to think
We're in the bull market, boys.
I'm bullish on this next year.
bullish on 2021, the rest of it, at least.
See, and it helps that helps to keep moving forward when you guys have like investments in coin. You know what I mean? That helps you stay optimistic and helps you keep alive because you're like, okay, by the end of the year, if I hold on to this, I believe that this will have more value than it does now.
And I mean, I couldn't have had that last year. It crashed and it stayed low, but yeah.
Right. Yeah, I'm glad it all happened when it did. I have no regrets.
Right.
But I think we're at the point where if we can wrap it up. It's been a great episode. Thanks for talking with us, Gary.
Yeah, of course. Let me put a helium miner at your house.
At my house or at the viewers'
Just
house?
your viewers listening, or listeners.
Hey,
let me
if
put a
you're
helium miner at
listening
your
to
house.
this, let me plug in something in your house and just
Don't touch it.
I'll
Don't
pay your
touch
internet
it.
bill.
I'll pay your internet bill. If you let me do it, I'll literally pay your internet bill.
This sounds like a joke, but I'm being dead serious.
Yeah, if you want your internet paid and like I'm not doing anything weird, yeah, DM me. Just let me know.
It's not illegal. It's completely fine.
Yeah, I just can't explain it in this time frame right now.
Yeah,
but
there's a little bit of responsibility that it goes with explaining it, but if you are curious, please contact Bray and Gary.
Don't hesitate to reach out.
Yeah. Anyways, thanks for listening to a long-awaited episode of the pod.
Long awaited by us, long planned.
Long
There have
planned.
been many nights where we're like, let's pod. We come over, we sit down, 6 hours go by. We did not pod, but thank God we podded today.
Yeah,
we
thank
came
God.
and podded today.
Well, hopefully the next gap won't be as long.
Oh, yeah.
And we hope you guys have a great life. Goodbye.